Good morning and welcome to the Race Advisor. We're now just a few hours from the third day at the Aintree Festival, and the Grand National is taking place at 5:15 this afternoon. The weather's looking good, the ground conditions are looking good, and I thought I would take the opportunity just to walk through an analysis for you of the Grand National using some of the Race Advisor tools and software. Now I'm going to start by going to the race itself here, which you can see at 5:15. There are 40 runners declared over 4 miles, 2 furlongs and 74 yards. So I'm going to click on that first, and we're going to start off by using the racing dossier. Now I'm going to change the race card. I've got a few made up here, but I'm just going to change it to my overview card, which gives a summary of all the ratings. And I can see, if I'm not sure, I can see what the ratings are just by hovering over or by clicking on the ratings description and searching for it. And I have to do this. There are so many ratings within Racing Dossier that I have to do this myself as well sometimes. So we've got all the 40 runners here. So how do we begin by removing some of these runners? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Betfair, which I've got over here, and I'm going to scroll down. And I'm going to remove any 39 to 1, higher than 39 to 1. So that's going to massively narrow the field. That's not to say that they can't win. It's just to say that I'm not going to be comfortable betting on them. So I'll start by removing the 4 non-runners: Bless the Wings, Knockhouse, Saint-Bremont and Viva Steve. So we've got, I'm just going to sort by... Oh, they may have already been removed for us here. Hang on, let me just check. Knockhouse, Saint-Bremont. They've already been removed. So that's great. Software's already removed them. When we had the data come in, they were already non-runners. So now we're just going to work backwards from the bottom. Le Vatican, Good to Know and Cocktails at Dawn. I've got this sorted by horse name. So I'm just going to click on the cross here. Vatican. I'm just going to press the cross to remove them from the list in a racing dossier. Good to know. I'm just going to keep going through like that. Gasline Boy, Dr. Harper and Ballinagher. Gasline Boy, Dr. Harper and up to Ballinagher. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. Orphalane's Boy, Le Mercury. O'Phalin's Boy, there we go, they're missing out the apostrophe. Regal Encore, Bishop's Road and Rat de France. So we've got Bishop's Road, Regal Encore and Rat de France, Franks. Chantou Flower, Stellar Notion, Wounded Warrior. Chantou Flower, Stellar Notion, Wounded Warrior. And you can see that these horses are just coming down here into this elimination list at the bottom on Racing Dossier. Dropout Joe, Tenor Nivernais and Measure of My Dreams. Dropout Joe, Measure of My Dreams, Tenor Nivernais. Houblon, Double Shuffle, Just a Par. Houblon, Double Shuffle, Just a Par. Perfect Candidate, Lord Windermere, and that's it. Oh no, Perfect Candidate, Lord Windermere, Wonderful Charm. Perfect Candidate, Lord Windermere, Wonderful Charm. And then we have Raz de Marie, and that's the last one. Okay, so we're down to 16 entries, and you can see that down here at the bottom. So that starts to make things a little bit more manageable. So I'm going to start by trying to find horses that I don't think are going to be strong in this race. And I'm going to do that by going through initially the Racing Dossier race card to get my own opinion. I always like to start with my own opinion on these things. So I'm going to sort by PFP and scroll down all the way. So we've got a range of these horses between 1529 and 1504. However, I'm going to look at this one as well which is the PFP class of the last good race, and I'm generally trying to find them to be similar-ish. So there's a big difference here in Definitely Red between their current PFP and the PFP class in the last good race. This is a form factor, and usually that would mean that this horse is on the decline. So this score I would expect to come down, and possibly this horse not to perform that well. So the ones that look strong, I'm just going to put a quick tick in so I can see. These are quite similar, big gaps here, and this is quite similar. And then we're starting to get quite far away from 1526, but I'm going to include this one just in case. And actually I'm going to include this one because the class of the last good race is higher than their PFP rating, so that could mean the horse is increasing. And I come to the next column, which is a competitive form class figure. And I'm going to scroll down, we can see it's quite a big variation between them. I'm not going to mark any horses here, I'm just going to take note that Definitely Red is still at the top. And that may give us a little bit of cause for concern, maybe bring them back in. Saint Art and Sappho de Roe. I'm expecting all the horses here to have something good in a race like this. We're going to expect pretty much every horse will have something that they are good at in. So I'm going to look now at this figure, which is the competitive speed class. Speed is not going to be so important here, but notice that Saint Art and Saphir de Roux, who are both at the top in the form competitive class ratings, are also both near the top here, whereas Definitely Red has dropped down to the bottom. So I'm now going to check these, and we can see down here Black Leon isn't good for either of these competitive classes, so I'm actually going to remove that runner, and we'll leave Cause for Causes because it was quite strong with the form competitive class, and the same for more of that. Now, consistency over the last 10 runs. And again, Definitely Red is jumping back to the top. So I'm going to mark this horse as bringing this horse back in for contention. The Last Samurai, Black Leon, we got quite a few here. I'm not going to take too much note of these because consistency in the Grand National is not really going to be that important. It's going to be more about whether they get bumped, knocked, fall, any of those things. Now let's look at the speed projection for this race, and again this is more of a glancing thing. So for example, I've noticed that Saint Art and Vieux Lion Rouge have both been near the top for everything that we've looked at so far. Definitely Red is jumping up and down a bit. Cause of Causes seems to be sitting around here. I'm actually going to remove this horse, seems to be sitting around here. We might bring the horse back in later on, but for the moment, no. Saphir de Roux seems to be middle of the field. But it's these two that seem to be jumping around. Now I'm going to skip over some of these speed figures until I get to the going. And again we see Saphir de Roux, Vieux Lion Rouge, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And we come down to the bottom and we've lost here Saint Art. Not so good over the going, but then 174 rating to 213. That difference isn't vast. 144 I'd be concerned of, but less concerned over that distance, over that difference in speed rating on ground when the ground's good and the race is so long. The speed horse average over the distance. Now, here we can see these are horses who have a speed figure over this distance previously, and obviously this is a specialist distance. Again, Vieux Lion Rouge is looking quite strong. We've actually got a performance from this horse there. So that's just another one to bear in mind. Last Samurai and Uccello Conti. Last Samurai has been poking its head up a little bit. Now the 5278 Contender Finder rank. These are the horses. This is a compiled rating that was made up of a lot of other ratings. And it tries to give us a rough idea of the top rated horses, and we got a few of these. but this is showing Pleasant Company and More of That and near the top. However, I know from experience that in races like this, where there are so many good horses, you've got to be a little cautious about being as black and white as we would normally be with these type of factors. So we just make note that Black Leon, Pleasant Company and More of That and near the top. Definitely red. I'm probably going to remove unless I have a cause to bring back in. And I'm just looking up and down. There's no other horses here that are jumping out at me. Now this is a very important one for me. Days since last good race, and I will remove any horse who hasn't had a good race in the last 6 months. So that's the last 180. Oh, I think I removed a few wrong horses there. No, okay. Last 180 days. And that reduces the list again. Now, days since last one. I mean, these horses here, if we just sort by days since last one, well, these horses have all not won a race for over a year. Let's just click on and get some of their historic races. Now we can see finish position 2016. And there's only been 4 races since then, with a warm-up race in March. Okay. Let's have a look at all of them for this. Thunder and Roses. Here we go, some long distance. And this horse hasn't won since 2015. The win was on soft ground. Wind was soft to heavy, yielding, soft. Looks like this horse isn't going to like the ground conditions, so I'm going to remove that one. Highland Lodge. Let's have a quick look. Last win was 2015, 5th of December. Hasn't raced since the 3rd of December. I'm going to remove that horse. It's a big race to get into if you've not raced for 4 months. We looked at this horse and then the last one, the Last Samurai. Okay, it's 2017, came second. It's quite promising on soft. One last year at Doncaster, a bit earlier. Okay, I'm gonna keep this horse for now. So you can see we're starting to narrow this down. We're now down to 8. Horse win percent, and this is more of just a highlighting thing. I mean, definitely red, still cropping up time and again here. 53%, 52%, 44%. These are all strong win weights, except down here, St. R. We're starting to feel a little bit less sure about this horse. Let's come back in and see if this is a placer. Came second recently, 3rd, 5th, 1st, 2nd, lots of third, lots of places. So I'm going to keep this horse in because we're depending on the odds, we're probably going to be doing an each way or a place bet. Now, trainer and jockey strike rate I don't use too much, so I'm less interested in that. But these 4 ratings here, PFP, PLR, 2, 3 and 4. These show the progression of a horse's form over the last 4 races. And what we're looking for is we're looking for increasing numbers across each row. So definitely red has got these increasing numbers over each row. Leon Rouge, it does, but dropped down a little bit 4 races ago. Nothing to worry about there particularly. Last Samurai not looking quite so strong. Neither is Saphir de Rue, if we're honest. One for Arthur, that's looking not too bad. Pleasant Company, bit of a drop down on that 4th. Most of them seem to have dropped down the 4th. However, we come to Cause of Causes, and this is not looking great. Good increase in performance last race, but from there on it was 2 races ago. And this, when it drops down like that over the range, it looks like the horse's performance is dropping off. So I'm going to remove that horse. And Saint R, again, not looking good, so I'm going to remove that horse. So now we're starting to get a nice picture. So all I'm going to do for the moment is I'm just going to add these 6 selections to my selections tab. So I've got a nice record of them. Sitting there. So that's Racing Dossier. We've managed to get it down to 6 entries. Definitely Red, Vieux Lion Rouge, The Last Samurai, Sapphire de Rue, One for Arthur, and Pleasant Company. My preference at the moment is kind of Vieux Lion Rouge, probably The Last Samurai, Sapphire de Rue next. Okay, now I'm going to move over to Profit Recall next. Unfortunately, in this race, we're not going to be able to use Profit Recall, and that's because Profit Recall requires a certain amount of similar race history in order to be able to analyse the chances of each horse. And because this is the Grand National and the race conditions are so specific, we aren't going to have enough of that history for Profit Recall to analyse. So next I'm going to come to Betting Speed Evolution. And let's just wait. This is going to be a big graph. That's fine. It's going to take a moment or two to load. Now, to start with, it looks like a bit of a mess, but don't worry, we're going to clean this up by being very specific. So I'm going to start by looking for the track Aintree. Where am I? Sorry, Chase Turf. Number of racers, I want 25 minimum. Class 1-1. Let's just apply that for a minute and see what we get back. There we go. So because I've put in 25 runners or more and class 1, very few horses are appearing here. Strong one, interestingly, is The Last Samurai here. And we can see good speed figure, soft, Aintree, April last year, almost certainly the Grand National, 7554 distance. So we can start to see some of these horses. St. R, we can see 2013, improved over here, 2014, improved again, 2015. It'll be interesting to see if there's any more improvement left. These two, Razdamiri, Highland Lodge, they're not on our shortlist anyway. They don't look strong enough. Cause of Causes doesn't look strong enough. Just a Par doesn't look strong enough. But none of these horses are on our final list. The Vatican, Vieux Lion Rouge is starting to get near the same as St. R, Vieux Lion Rouge, and Uccello Conti. I'm pretty sure it wasn't on our list actually. But The Last Samurai looks to be the strongest there. Now I'm just going to come back here for a minute to the dynamic filter. I'm going to reduce this down to 15. And that should add a bit more data on here, which it does. And again, we've limited this partly because of the Aintree track as well. And we're looking for big run of field. So The Last Samurai is still looking strong here. Vieux Lion Rouge is also looking strong, positive, recent as well. Uccello Conti we should probably bring back into the fold. Highland Lodge is looking strong, as is One for Arthur. Now, interestingly here, St. R seems to have dropped off a bit when we look at some other runners. Now, we can probably change this again by looking only for good condition like today. That was going to remove, I would imagine, most of these. No records. So what I'm going to do now is delete the number of runners. So let's just look at horses over this course on good. And again, Wonderful Charm we've got here. Up at the top, Sapphire de Rue. Obviously very good on good ground. And the others are a little bit mediocre. I'm going to take that off, and then finally I'm just going to look Aintree, Chase Turf, and see who we have here. Just a Par we already know about. Mercury, this will be The Last Samurai, who's still looking to be amongst the strongest here. Sapphire de Rue, last performance in 2016, not good last year. Still potential. Wonderful Charm, we start looking at the time frames now. Last time they raced at Aintree 2015 on Chase Turf, that's a long time ago. Or at least the last time we could get a valid speed figure for them. So for me, this highlights that the Last Samurai is a strong contender. Uccello Conti we should consider again, and Vieux Lion Rouge, and alongside that, potentially Highland Lodge. The Mercury may be one to consider. So Last Samurai, Vieux Lion Rouge, Uccello Conti, Highland Lodge, and possibly the Mercury. So let's just go back to Racing Dossier now. A second to load. Sorry, my machine has just slowed down. Last Samurai, Vieux Lion Rouge. None of these were here. I'm going to remove these. Now I'm going to keep Sapphire de Roux for the moment, but I'm looking for Uccello Conti. I'll remove it from here, and Highland Lodge. There we go. Last Samurai, Vieux Lion Rouge, Uccello Conti. And these were a little bit. There was one other, I believe, as well. Let's just flip back here and have another look. Just apply the filter again. Chase turf at Aintree. There's this one, Le Mercury. Okay, so let's just come back here. Le Mercury, there we go. Okay, so we've got these 6. They've changed around a bit. Sapphire de Roux, I'm not so keen on. Highland Lodge, Le Mercury, Last Samurai. These are our 5 strongest, with Sapphire de Roux coming in the back. And now, first thing I noticed is there is a green EC here, which means that this is also an eye catcher horse, and we can see by hovering over it that in the eye catchers this was tipped as an anti-post in 50s, now down 28 to 1. So that's just a little bit of extra. I'm going to come back to my overview race card here and just have a quick look through these runners again, as we've added a few new ones in. Let's give it a second for the card to load up. Just have a quick run through again, and I'm simply going to take top 3 in each of the main ones here and see where we end up. And that's there. Consistency I'm not so worried about. Speed projection, average ongoing. We'll see that most of the time it's the same 3. Now Uccello Conti has raced at the track before over this distance, which is a big bonus, proved to do quite well. But not had a good race for 468 days. Let's just get the history. Okay, it'll be this. Finish position, second. That's not so bad. So we consider a good race to be based on not finish position but distance to winner. So the chances are that although this runner came second here, it was quite a way from the winner. But this is looking positive. What isn't looking positive is that generally we've got soft to heavy ground. So that worries me. Actually, I'm going to remove this horse for both those reasons. Days since last one. Last Samurai not run for a while, but we know that already. Same with the Mercury. The Mercury hasn't had a good race for a while either. We can just see that. It's going to be the same thing. It's probably going to be this one. The others are probably quite a distance behind the winner. But we'll leave that in for now. Horse win percent. It's the same 3 again. We're seeing the same 3 time and time again, you'll notice. And it's always Vieux Lion Rouge, the Last Samurai, and Sapphire de Roux, with then Highland Lodge coming next. So I'm actually going to remove the Mercury. And that gives us 4 runners. So let's take a quick look at 4 selections. Let's take a quick look at the market. Vieux Lion Rouge currently 16 to 1 there, odds of 17. The Last Samurai, 26 or 25 to 1. Sapphire de Rue is 26 to 1 down here. And Highland Lodge is 37 to 1. And so they're all within our thing. So how are we going to bet these? Well, we can do a Dutch bet, definitely. So I'll be looking at probably Dutching them in the win market, and then we'll have a look at the place market. We've got place for the standard 4 places, then 5, 6, and 10 places, and this will be made out based on the odds. Sapphire de Rue, well, then the 6s here, Highland Lodge 8, and Moulin Rouge, Last Samurai 6, here we go. So they're all in the 6s. Let's have a quick look here. 5 places, what does that knock us down? So we're all going to be in the 5s, I would imagine. 4.6 for the Last Samurai. Not much difference, so I would probably look at the 5s. Let's go to the 6 places. I mean, we know what this race is like. Sapphire there. 4s and 10 places, I'm expecting them to be quite low. However, in 10 places, we would expect a large number of these to come in. I'll probably split the difference here and go for 6 places in the 6th place market here, and aim to get, hopefully, a couple of them placing and potentially even one winning. So I'll probably be Dutching them all in the win market and doing 6 places, 1 bet on each in the place market. So just to follow up on the final analysis here is that I'll be looking at Moulin Rouge, The Last Samurai, Sapphire de Rue and Highland Lodge, Dutching all 4 to win, and then betting each in the 6th place market to place. If you can get better place returns through the bookmakers, then I would strongly suggest that you use your bookmaker accounts to do that. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great Grand National, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.